and I actually joined a cult
Huh?
in Singapore.
Oh,
Yeah, so I'm going to not name it, but they're still around.
you joined a cult?
Yeah, so I didn't even know it's a cult, but it was a cult.
What's going on, everybody?
All right, today we have Mark in the house again.
Hi.
And today we're going to be talking about this whole idea of work as a family. So some employers will actually say that hey, actually join us because our work, when you come in, it's like a family. Everybody treats each other like a family.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you've heard of this before, right?
Yes, I have heard of this before, totally.
Right. Okay. So what is your view on that?
Don't do it lah.
Why?
No, that's not true. I think that it's very important to ensure that you have a workplace that you can feel very comfortable and safe in. And I definitely feel that it's important. However, I do personally think that using the term family might not be I don't think using the term family is a very healthy way of going about it. Because there are many other things that are linked to family.
Yeah.
Like one of the main things I remember I used to go through was when it comes to family, you probably have a brother, sister, father, mother. Sorry, that makes sense. In your family, you probably have siblings or parents, or kids who are damn irritating for some reason, right?
Yeah.
But you put up with them and you deal with them because they're your family. You like, it's okay lah, but he or she is just like that. You put up with that. But that's not what work's supposed to be like. If the person is underperforming, if a person's not exactly doing what they're supposed to do, if they're not actually pulling their weight, it can't just be, it's okay lah, they're just family. That's not how it works, because it hinges a lot of emotional linkages to relationships, which I don't think is something which is very healthy or useful or efficient in a workplace. What about you, Jason? What do you think?
So when I think of people
Should be
saying
more
that as work as a family, I think they're trying to be as humanizing as possible,
Right.
To make sure that okay, I don't see you as a number, but then if the number is on this side where I just see you as person in the factory line where you produce something, then after that, if you don't produce, then sorry, bye-bye. Then on the other aspect, which the other extreme is like, you're my family. And in efforts of humanizing, this whole phrase came out.
Yeah, of course.
And I felt that causes a lot of issues, especially for the leader, because like what you said, if the leader feels that actually work is like a family and we will put up with our brother.
Yeah.
Like I have a brother.
Yeah.
I'll put up with my brother. I'll put up with my mom. I'll put up with my
He
dad.
puts up with you too.
Yeah. So they put up with me too,
Yeah.
because in the family context, I think the main thing is that you cannot break the family.
Yeah.
Right?
Family.
Because
Family.
that's Vin Diesel.
Yeah. I got family.
I forgot. There's one line that he says.
What?
I don't know. It's like,
You don't need logic. That's what he says. He's actually in every single thing. We don't need this if you have family. I'm like,
something
wow,
like
really?
that. I don't even know whether he was like that even before the Fast and Furious.
No,
because last time he was like,
no, man.
he was like Riddick.
Yeah, Riddick. What was Riddick? There's
Riddick was
only
just-
one speed, mine. I was
Yeah.
like, what the fuck?
Yeah, okay.
That was such a weird term.
So there is extremes where I treat you as a number,
Mm.
and I don't really care how you feel.
Yeah.
You just produce. If
Yeah.
you don't produce, you're out.
Yeah.
Right? And on the other extreme is that I treat you as a family member.
Yeah.
And if you're low performing, I'll guide you all the way because I know that you will one day recover and one day overcome whatever it is.
That might, I mean, sure, it's a nice way of looking at it. But I mean, you have had experiences, and I think I have personally gone through like sessions with you, and you have also brought up a point about at a certain point, at a certain point within a particular scope, certain individuals may not be able to perform any better,
Yeah.
and they need to probably reassess. Maybe if they want to go into something different,
Yeah.
which they can probably excel a lot better than somebody else. So if you go with the whole thought process of like, oh yeah, I can definitely help you all the way up. Sure, I mean, it's good that you have this nurturing environment, but really at a certain point of time, cannot already, like, hey, cannot, you just not working out. Then
Yeah.
what are you going to keep doing? Just, constantly try and flog a dead horse here. Is that how they say it?
I
Flog a
have
dead
no
horse?
idea. Is flog a dick hot?
Did
a
you
dick
just
hot.
say flog a dick hot? Flog a dick hot.
No.
Well, I mean, you can flog a dick hot live if you want. You can
Oh
flog
my
a dick
goodness.
hot.
Flog a dead horse.
Flog a dick hot.
Yeah, okay.
Flog a dick hot is going to be way better. Hey, would you like the flog a dick hot? I'm sorry? It's Martin Flog a dick hot. Yeah, flog a dick hot. So no, I mean, I think it's really like I think it's really more to do with, I mean, at a certain point, what are you going to do? Because you might want to reconsider. Perhaps another individual might be best in that space. This also kind of leads into the point about how we had this conversation about hiring and firing and everything
Yeah.
right before, and how like at the end of the day, it's very difficult to be a good hirer, right? You think? What was your thing?
It's impossible
It's
to be a good hirer. The
Mm.
only best way to hire, or okay, so the only best way to hire well is to fire well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because so the whole idea of so the whole idea of hiring is that in a couple of sessions you
Yeah.
think that you know this person.
So a few dates and then you're gonna get married already.
Yeah, so in 3 dates, okay, I'm going to marry you for the rest of my life. But that's impossible.
Yeah.
So that's why there's 2-3 years, then people get married.
Yeah.
Right? So because they know that after 2-3 years, you kind of know.
Yeah.
After 10 years, if you're not married, then it's like, a bit strange.
Yeah.
Right? After one date, you're married, also a bit strange.
That's
so
true.
there's something
That's true.
where you need to get that to know that person. So if you say like work is my family and then you're joining my family.
Yeah.
Then
that actually does lead into the marriage thing. You're right. Yes, correct. The family thing. Yes.
yeah, then it's forever. That means after first date, you get married. And that
Yes,
person should
yeah.
be okay all the way. You
Yeah.
just try to make it work.
Yeah.
By work, the objective is different. The objective is not to, even though the objective is, okay, I want to get to know you,
Yeah.
you
And
know,
have a close-knit team. Yeah.
close-knit team,
Even though-
we know each other, we go for drinks and all
Yeah.
that. But yet the main purpose of work is what? Output.
Yeah.
It is results.
Yep.
It is that I need to go there and you are part of my team to help me get there.
Mhm.
So that's why for work as a family, it blurs that line.
Yeah,
And,
I agree.
and when it blurs that line, then it's like, okay, then decision making is going to be quite difficult to make, especially if you need to fire somebody.
Yes, of course, because there's a lot of emotions attached to it, and that shouldn't be the case.
So, but the funny thing is that then where is that middle ground,
Okay.
right? If you think about it, that middle ground would be somewhere along the line where I will treat you as well as possible and emotionally as possible, and I want to connect with you.
Yep.
But yet you know that if you fall short, you're out.
I think what I feel is important is to not peg the whole like office dynamic over we are here to be a family, but we are here to be a professionally well-run team to do things to spec. You know, we are here to work and achieve something that we can only achieve together because we are greater than the sum of our parts. Because we work very well together, and then that's where the efficiency comes, and then it becomes more like, can you contribute in that way to this team dynamic, which then makes everybody happier versus pissing some people off versus like, hey, we're just family, you know. I mean, it's not very. It doesn't really say anything about the work that's done So I mean, that's why I mean, like in particular for me, when it comes to a lot of the experience I've had before, there were various different teams that I was with. When I was with smaller publications, it really was very, very tight knit. It was super tight. You basically do everything together. You know, go out for meals together. You go out for events together. You work very late into the night together. Yeah, it really does feel somewhat like family. You spend more time with them than your family. But
you do definitely.
You do definitely. You spend a lot more time with your
most waking hours is Monday to Friday.
Correct. But the thing is, that was like also not very healthy at a certain point because you kind of your work was just fully consuming you. Like it was just entirely everything about you was your work. So much so that I think this might have happened with individuals who stay in a job for many, many, many years in the past. But if you stay there for quite a while, when you decide to leave, and then you go like, wow, what purpose do I have in life? You know, what exactly is my calling, or not say calling, what does my life even amount to? Because at the end of the day, my entire life was work, right? And then, then now that I don't have this work, it's like, oh, what am I going to do with my free time? That's just so weird. You know, you can spend time with my family. I haven't done that in such a long time. You know, it's like, oh, you're like,
that in
real?
10 years.
Yeah, and then I'm like,
now
your real family? Oh, shit, okay. You know, so it's kind of weird. I mean, like, fortunately, I managed to get out of it earlier. And then when I worked in a larger organization, about 3,000 people, then it was very different because that one's very obvious. No matter how much they say we are family, right? You do not, and you cannot have 3,000 family members, okay, at the same time. So you start to detach slightly, but not in a bad way as well. You start to know how to compartmentalize your life in terms of work, in terms of what really matters to you, the close-knit group that you work with. Yeah. But it becomes a very different kind of sequencing in terms of how you look at work. Then I had also another experience when I was working with restaurants, and that one's really like very tight knit. It's really the kind where like, hey, anything, man, like for when you work with a team of like, whether it's chefs, bartenders, front of house crew and everything, it's really like everything you you do for them, and they will like back you up, man. This is like wow, the police come, you know that somebody is gonna like throw smoke so that you can run, and after that they will like, I'll hold it for you, man. And then they'll do the Nicolas
What?
Cage thing with the green smoke. Is it
Yeah,
green smoke?
yeah.
Yeah, green smoke. I see green smoke. They'll do that for you. Yeah, they will, and you will do that for them as well. It's very, very valuable. But then also like, it's different kind of dynamic. And then now where I'm working now, I mean, we try our best to keep it as professional as we can. I mean, we're very fortunately have a chance to do that, but I always tell the team, like, it's really important to not just think that it's family all the time, because while loosely we can say family, it's important to know that the main job that I have as a manager is to ensure that the team works as well as possible and as efficiently as possible to get the job done, so that they can go home and spend time with their real families. That's to me the most important thing. Making sure that they can go home and do their own thing. And that's something that has come down from it depends on who the management is as well. The management maybe doesn't see it that way as well, might be different, but fortunately my management is quite balanced in that way, so that's very helpful. So yeah, but I mean, I don't know about you, in your experience working with different teams, have you seen that happen too?
So whenever I talk to leaders, and sometimes leaders, they will say things like, "Okay, I think this person still has a chance. I think I'm leading them not in the right way," and then they always blame themselves, because then I start to peel the layers on that leaders, like, hey, what is the belief that you have? What is the real belief that you have? Is that then it will come something to the line of like, yeah, but I want to take care of them, I treat them like a family. Then it's like, okay, so that is the belief that you have. And because you have that belief, a lot of things like firing, or a lot of things like very difficult conversations, like this is already 3 times, have we said this before, this is our standard that we have, after that, I'm sorry, I think there will be other places that would suit you better. That kind of difficult conversations you don't really have, or you can't have, or something is blocking you.
Yeah.
So I do see that leaders who hold on to this whole idea of work is my family, the people I bring in are going to be my new, maybe if I'm the manager, it's all my new children, I'm going to take care of them, I want to know everything about their life, I want to know everything about what's happening to them. That's great in terms of the empathy side. It's like, okay, now I know what's happening to your family at home. But then it's so difficult to make that decision, so that you're so close, then suddenly like, oh, if you just don't pass that mark, that 51%, you're out.
Yeah. It's true.
Then they'll be like, but what happened to everything else?
What happened to all the family stuff you mentioned earlier?
So I see that in leaders. On the other point, very interestingly, you also know that I was in financial advisory.
Yes.
Right? And I actually joined a cult in Singapore.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm going to not name it, but they're still around.
You joined a cult?
Yeah, so I didn't even know it's a cult, but it was a cult.
Oh, what was it positioned to you as if you didn't?
It's just an advisory. It's a professional advisory firm.
Oh, okay.
It's like, oh, okay, wow. Then when we come in, then
instead of selling financial instruments, you're selling what, souls?
No, as in they behave like a cult, but however, they still did whatever they're supposed to do. The output is still financial advisory, but they behave like a cult. You come in, not kidding, you come in, you straight away see the founder there, and everything is all about the founder.
Oh, okay.
Right? And the boss, basically the boss.
The boss,
and everybody is like, he's like a father to us. Every single person says that.
Okay.
From his generals to his lieutenants to everybody down. He's like a father. He's always thinking about us, always wanting the best out of us. And so because of that, it permeates to every part of your life. He will tell you who you can date.
Whoa.
He will tell you who you marry.
Wow.
And he will tell you when you should wake up and then come and then do the exercise with him.
What exercise is?
So
wait. You say exercise?
Tai Chi.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant like
no,
exercises.
No. Yeah, and then it's like the entire time is just like, oh my goodness, he's always there thinking about us and all that, and this is the only way that we can respect him back by giving our best.
Oh,
so So if you think about like blurring the lines, that was the most blurred, and it was a very high performing team. That's the funny thing, extremely high performing.
Oh, shit.
And everybody is like, but when he comes in the room, everybody's like almost like kowtow kind. Yeah, but they don't call him father; they call him like 老板啦. Or they call him boss lah.
But but then that's not really a cult lah.
Yeah, but so many things.
It's very
inside.
cult-like lah.
No. So it's legit.
Were there chants? Okay, I don't know what makes a cult.
What?
Were there chantings? Like
no,
if Jason,
okay.
if you were allowed, were there?
So a few things about So there are different kinds of cults. One is that the person is the supreme leader that will lead you to eternal life.
Yeah, got
right.
You.
So that's the extreme religious cult.
So this is not.
The other cult is that this person controls every part of your life.
Okay.
Right, and then the more you share with him, it's almost like the more you share with him, the more he wants to be part of your life, and that he wants to know what's happening. He will even tell you what to wear. Like, oh, this is professional, this is not. Then almost the point where like people, if you don't seek his view, you are not giving him the respect because he cares for you so much. And everybody did that. So it's almost like it permeated every part of your life to a point where it's like your health, what you eat, right? And who you look out for, who you date, and things like. So that was serious. That was really really scary. I was there a couple of years. Yeah, and I was like, everybody's like, what's wrong? And when you come in, everybody said, oh, this place is like a family. We look out for each other, and he's our father figure, and then he's always looking out for you, and he cares for you so much. And it's almost like, wow.
Okay, was there anything negative about it though? I mean,
there's a lot of
let's just go like super. Besides the fact that he tells you who to date, lah.
No, so then there's also a basically code of conduct, lah. That means this is how you behave, and it's actually
How did you do that for a few years? You don't like listening to the rules, or what?
Yeah, which is strange. Then it's like that's why it's like, hey, how come it's almost like, see, when people go into a cult, right? You're always looking for utopia, some kind of utopia, and a cult gives you that utopia because it's like it's not about how intellectually smart you are.
Got you.
It's about what we need as human beings, and a lot of times we need as human beings is the idea of I want to belong.
Yes, of course.
And then a cult gives you that great belonging, and you are set apart from everybody else.
Yeah.
So a cult usually, one of the keys of a cult is that you are right. Everybody else in the industry is wrong.
Oh, okay.
So they keep saying that. And then even the father figure, this guy, keeps saying that also. So it's almost like you are the only one that's holding on to the truth in the industry.
Right.
So while everybody is bad.
we are all, so in this particular one, we are all holding on to the truth, and I am the supreme truth, lah.
Yes.
Right.
And this is how I see things. And then he will talk about basically that. A lot of things he will do based on that. And why is that very bad is the lines become really blur. Okay. That means like then it's this is really your family. And sometimes it will go to a point where no matter what happens to your girlfriend, wife, and all that, we are here for you. We are here. It is even more important. Like the number one thing in your life is that we do well together. We fill your pockets with money.
Yeah.
Doing well in financial advisory, but we also have a place where we care for you deeply. And the funny thing about this is that cults also use this whole idea of so this other currency of closeness to the father.
Closeness to the.
So how close can you be to me?
Oh, like different levels of.
Yeah, so there are different levels. So
what level did you get to?
So I went all the way.
To what? You were the father?
No.
No.
Closest, there's a group of us who was closest. Then you either get knocked down if you don't obey.
So how did you get knocked down?
Yeah, so you can do almost very simple things like
you didn't eat the carrot or something. Like that.
Let's say you say that, oh, I think this is the better way of doing something. Then you do it and you didn't consult, you're out. So you get knocked down from, let's say, level 1, and let's say
did you have names for the levels? Or was it just 1, 2, 3?
No, they were just you can kind of see the levels.
Oh, there's no real specifics.
Yeah,
What is worse?
Yeah, so it's like, oh, these are all the people who are closest. Then the father figure will smile at you if you're in this group. If you're not in this group,
literally or just
smile, really.
Literally smile at you. You mean he doesn't smile all the time, Anna?
Yeah, and then the rest, like, don't give a shit about you.
Wow.
Yeah.
He will smile at you.
Yeah, so it's almost like it's a legit cult. So anyway, coming back.
He will smile at you.
Yeah, I mean, he'll give you attention. Like a father, like imagine children, when they go home, they want the attention from the father.
Okay,
or the mother, right?
Yeah,
imagine the father and mother ignores you and just looks at your and talks to your brother.
Yeah.
Entire time.
Yeah.
Then you'd be like, hey, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
Then you start spiraling down.
Yeah.
And a lot of people spiral down. It's either they quit or they try to get back up.
Okay.
So there's a whole, you're right, a mental abuse of like, oh, I'm trying to get back up for approval.
Right.
Because he's the father, and then he's like, now I've lost connection with the father. And then now I'm down. Now I'm going back up. Now I'm down, going back up. And that can go on cycles and cycles. And then you will hear success stories of people who go back up and it's shared with everybody.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's like, wow.
The tale of Tan Ah Beng who managed to come back out from the ashes.
Yeah, exactly. Then it's like, oh, because he obeyed. And coming back, everything about currency is always obedience. 100% obedience. So that was the blurriest line I've ever seen at work when it comes to like, he's the father figure. There's no right and wrong. His what he says is right and wrong. Yeah.
But then...
And that was scary.
That was damn scary. That
was very
scary for you.
But the funny thing is that everybody because they go there, they get that guidance.
Yeah. And
get
they also
that-
make a lot of money.
and they make a lot of money and all
Yeah.
that. So that was scary, and that was my experience when it comes to this whole idea of father figure and
Okay.
work as a family. And that was not even work as a family. Work is your family, and work is the only family you have.
Right.
Everything else
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Exactly. Did you when you left that place, was
Yeah.
it difficult to leave?
Very difficult. So usually for cults, everybody who leaves is excommunicated. You
Yeah, yeah,
never are able. So anybody inside talk to you, you're out also.
Oh.
Yeah. So you cannot. Everybody
It
is
seems like very clear rules there.
Yeah, very clear. So cults have very clear rules,
Okay.
and it's very isolated.
Yeah.
So don't listen to anybody, just listen to me.
Mhm.
And that's where it can be very scary. Where if you believe that this is a family and all that, and you live by their rules,
Yeah.
then you need to follow the rules, and you get blurred. It's like, is this my professional life or is this my personal life as well? And he put all efforts to make it as blurred as possible,
Right.
so that you kind of don't know that. And after I came out, I realized that there's a lot of things that he's just hiding from all the advisors.
Oh, okay.
All the bonuses you're supposed to get, he get.
Oh.
Yeah, all the trips you're supposed to get, he gets.
Wait, hang on. He gets it, but then everybody still makes a lot of money.
Yeah, so
What
that,
the heck is
so
this
that means
industry?
like, let's say if you're outside, you're earning 10K.
Ah,
Then no, if you're inside there, you're earning 10K.
10K.
If you go outside,
And
you're
do the
earning
same
like 18K.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because he takes
Wow.
everything, and then it's all about I need to run this whole family, or I need to run this whole place for
Oh.
you. It's always about you, never about him.
Wow.
So that was scary, and that was one of the most interesting
A few
parts of my
years,
life.
a few years.
Yeah, but also the most painful,
Wow.
because like everything was blurred. So
Did you feel a lot of loss when you left as well? Did you feel a bit of like loss, like you weren't sure what you were supposed to do with your
yeah,
life?
definitely, because
Yeah.
your whole life was set out for you.
Yeah.
They even tell you like, oh, this is where you should invest your money.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys are financial advisors.
No, then this is where we should buy this together. Let's buy that together. And then they keep you in more and more.
Oh.
So you can't leave. So it's like, yeah, then it's like, yeah, it's strange. And then everybody, oh, you need to buy a car. You should buy a car. If you're earning this amount, buy a car.
All right.
Then you buy this car, then you're locked on to the 2,000-3,000 you need to
Yeah,
pay. Then
yeah.
you just carry on. So a lot of people,
Oh.
they're still around.
Yeah. You mentioned.
Yeah,
right?
they're still around and they're still expanding.
Shit.
And it's scary.
Oh. But they're also doing very well for their.
They're doing very well.
They're doing very well.
Yeah.
That's a point, Like, I mean, they can't knock it. Also, I mean, I don't.
It's not inherently
I'm not,
bad.
Yeah, I'm not.
If
I'm
you
not
look at
gonna-
it just for
Correct.
a financial point of view.
Yeah.
But the psychological part does affect that person.
Wow, it's actually quite interesting because I was like, if it was a situation where you're all locked in, right?
Yeah.
And then somehow you're also having a tough time in terms of like you're not really doing so well, or like even if you did really well, if the father don't like you, then
Yeah.
you don't get that much money. Which
Yeah.
I'm assuming something like that might happen right there.
Um,
You did very well, but you're not on the tier 1. You're not platinum class. You're only like bronze, right?
Yeah.
Then you don't get so much. Then he will. Then
no. So
Whatever.
that he doesn't give like things out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Wow.
he's very good with keeping the money.
Wow.
Yeah. So the only currency which everybody is fighting for is attention.
It's his smile.
It's his smile and attention. Which you think about it as a
So
business person and as a cult leader, fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
But then when I see and I talk to the people who come out, I see the difficulty that they had. And it's just psychological.
So
it's just
trippy,
really,
man.
yeah, it's psychological. It's like almost like, oh my goodness, I don't even know what happened to me. And some of them were 5 years, 7 years. And we have friends there as well.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's like,
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, and
Okay.
then it's like, wow, it's big. So coming back, the idea of where work should be seen as just work.
Yeah.
You can have a caring place, a safe place.
Yeah.
You can have a place where people actually look out for you,
Yeah.
and you can actually build good relationships.
Correct.
That means when you leave, you can still be like, hey, let's hang out for beers.
Yeah.
But they're not your family.
Yeah.
And they will, when if need be, they just cut you,
Yeah.
and
of
that's
course.
the business.
Yeah, it's true.
And to prepare ourselves psychologically,
Yeah.
we also need to know that getting cut, it's normal.
Yeah.
Like
Shouldn't
all the
feel- yeah,
like
exactly.
recently the Grab layoffs,
Yeah,
1,000
exactly.
people, and it's like last year they said everything was good, right? But it's just business, lah. We shouldn't be shocked. It's just normal.
Yeah, I think it's one of those. It's true. I mean, that also looking at your workplace as not being a family per se also does help in terms of looking out for technically the best for yourself
Yes,
as an
yeah.
individual, right?
So you don't have those attachments and those
so
emotional
correct. It's not like
strings to like,
it's okay lah. I'll just do this because
Yeah.
anyway we're family. No,
Yeah.
no. If this is something's going wrong, you need to be able to be very aware that
Yeah.
it's time for you to maybe make a different move, exit, bring it up to whoever you need to bring it up
Yeah.
to. Because also whenever you add emotions to things, sometimes you kind of glaze over certain things which actually should be brought up to
Yes.
the relevant parties lah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and also if touch wood in the situation that you may have to be let go or that there needs to be a departure of some sort for any
Yeah.
unforeseen circumstance, it makes it a lot clearer lah, because it's work. It's not like, how can you do this to me? We're
Yes.
family, right? How can you
Exactly.
do this to me?
Yeah.
It helps any individual who's an employed staff lah. That's why I feel like it's actually better for the team to know that this is not a family thing.
Yeah.
It's not healthy lah. It's
Yeah.
really just not healthy.
Yeah. So when you leave, you already have built up that natural resistance
Yeah.
or resilience to know that actually being fired or leaving or being laid off is actually very normal, right? No matter what they say.
Yeah, I think I found it. I think I have had to develop that over time, because in the past, like I mentioned before, when I used to work in publications and stuff like that, because it's such a small team, everybody knows everybody, and it's very, very tight in that way, right? You really find it very, very find it very, very troubling when you have to have a difficult conversation with someone. You really find it very troubling when you have to either somebody has been let go, you have to be you're going through some issues with the whole like hitting the deadlines and performance and everything, and those conversations get very, very tricky. And then in the end, the worst case scenario is not worst case scenario. One situation happens that people just don't feel great. Another one is just the work suffers. Everything just suffers in that sense. So I think that it's good I think it's very, very important to kind of keep that in mind, because I personally had to learn that. It was very difficult for me to accept that it's okay not to really be damn best friends with your colleagues. It took me a while to get that, because I found it very difficult at first. I mean, there was a time when I used to be like, oh, if I can't be friends with the people I'm working with, how I work with them, you know.
Yeah.
But then now I'm like, no, I think it's perfectly fine. Now I'm like, it's okay. You don't have to be best friends. Don't have to even be friends. As long as we both, or myself and the people around me that I have to work with, we are comfortable working together. We understand what we bring to the table.
Yeah.
We do what we're supposed to do in the best way that we're supposed to do. And then after that, okay, you can go on your separate ways. Because if you want to try and then after that you can go for a drink, man. No, it's okay. You know, I'm a very friendly person, which is why it's very funny when I used to say I didn't come in and make friends. People always laugh at me. And I mean, down the road, obviously, you would create some relationships. But in truth, no lah. I mean, it really is. It's meant to be a bit more professional, because it's better for work in that way lah. Do you obviously don't hang out with anybody from that group anymore lah?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even people who have left.
Yeah, no. So people have left. Some of them are here and there, but then the people inside is XCOM.
Oh.
Yeah, you're like John Wick excommunicado.
Oh.
Yeah. You are like.
Did you have a coin you're supposed to bring in and then you're supposed to show?
No.
Did you have to? No.
No.
Do you have a full back tattoo?
No.
Okay.
No.
For those of people who are watching, by the way, just let you know, for those of you people who are watching this video, Jason's hair was like this after that happened. So he didn't suddenly get this hair because of the cult.
Yeah.
That is after, just to be clear. Because they might be looking and go like, oh, of course he's part of a cult. So no, this was significant. I don't know when this was, because I don't exactly know. Okay, officially I don't know when this is. But yeah, his hair was after.
Yeah.
So we should talk about. We should do a whole session on Jason's hair next time.
Oh my goodness. What you mentioned just now, what you mentioned about friendship is also important for people to also understand that when you place certain expectation about friendship, it really depends on who you are personally. So if you're the kind of person that you get a lot of energy from people, and then the more energy you get from people, the more you do a good work.
Okay.
Then it's very natural for you to I want to be friends with everyone.
Right.
But there are some people in life that they don't want to be friends because they don't get energy from people. They get energy from just doing work.
Yeah. Or completing work.
Or completing work, or doing work, or being known for good work.
Yeah.
Right?
Being known for good work is what excites them. And what
then the whole idea is that, hey, how do I... Sometimes people in this category of I want everybody to be my friend, they find it so great a challenge to try to figure out, how do I break this person? How do I
Right.
get to know this person? Why see this person not being my friend and being a friend to somebody else? So once you go back to primary school, it's like, hey, there's no logic. And this is like that. There's some people like you, some
Because you
people
don't
don't
want
like you.
because you don't want that I wanna.
Yeah, lah. It's like weird reasons. And
Yeah.
that also helps us as a person to be resilient and as a person to be like, okay, hang on. If I now have a belief that I want to be friends with everybody in office,
Got it.
that's going to not serve me very well. It's going to affect me, especially if I give 10, they give 1 back.
Yeah.
Right? So if I have a different belief, then maybe a belief that is like, okay, there's some people who I can reach out to and will reciprocate, and some people who don't. Then you live life like, okay, it becomes smoother for you when at work.
I get you.
And then because some of the comments I get is like, can I be friends with my boss?
Yeah.
Some bosses.
Hey, what's your answer?
Same thing. Some bosses are like that.
Want to be friends.
So if you are my boss, then you kind of want to be pally, right?
Okay, sure.
Right? You want to
I'm
kind
not
of
sure
know
about you,
about
but
me,
yeah, sure. I mean, like, seriously,
Okay,
Jason, you are like...
But there are some other people who like, no matter what you talk about your personal life, they'll be like, oh, okay, we're done with the meeting.
Yeah.
It's like, I
I've been in those situations before.
I gotta go.
Okay.
A little bit of a laughter, but then I'll gotta go.
Yeah.
Right. Then they are the kind that you cannot be friends with them.
Yeah.
No matter what.
And it's okay.
And sometimes
it's okay. It's perfectly fine.
And it's
really
okay.
Yeah.
And if you look at them, it's like, and the funny thing is that when you look at them, maybe when they are with their boss, they are like damn pally.
Then
you'd be like,
how come I don't have that?
Exactly. But maybe
why
because
is the father not smiling on me?
Maybe they are doing that just to get ahead.
Maybe. Because they know that person wants that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So some people are loved by people above, but hated by people below.
Yeah. Is that a thing? Is that a phrase you're coining or something?
No, it's just very natural. And these are the people.
Is there a way? But it's also people who are loved by people below, but hated by people above, Those guys get fired, basically,
Those guys are those guys fight for your team.
Fight for your team, but then you might get kicked out,
But they don't know how to play the game.
Yeah. Because
so the people who
play
really politically play the game, everybody above likes them.
Yeah.
Their peers like them.
But then there are people below them really cannot stand them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a real that's a real problematic thing. I mean, I think it's definitely a situation where you're gonna have. I think as you work with more and more people, you're gonna really have more and more situations where you will meet different people who will think very differently. And I think like right now I'm also facing a bit of a personal, like not struggle but personal kind of realization that it's come to a point right now where I'm the old guy in the office.
Yeah.
And then I'm like having to manage like I mean, I think that the team we have, there's nothing wrong with them being younger. They just were born later, and it's just managing how their personalities are. And obviously, like like when people say, "Oh, generation gap," I was like, "Yo, shit, this is real, okay?" I don't know half the time. I'm like, wait, did I just offend you? I'm not sure what's happening right now. I'm not trying to, like managing that. So it's a bit tricky. Okay, one question that I actually had was, the whole like we should actually maintain a certain profession. I mean, that's for me like professionalism when it comes to our workplace, and then you kind of save any kind of like relationships or actual friendships and everything externally. You may be able to hang out with some people here, but generally it's outside, right? What about individuals who don't have friends outside work? I'm just wondering. This is just a thought. Like, I only have my work people that I know and I hang out with. Outside that, I don't actually have any friends because my work is, maybe a kind of work that is very specific. Maybe it's actually the reason why I mentioned that when I was in publications, and with the restaurant, why I was very tight was because your hours are very different from everybody else. So, So I'm just saying, what about those individuals? Should we still say no to family, or should we still say like, what do you think?
Yeah. So, for those people who are that, there's nothing wrong. Everything is good until it becomes really wrong. So, for example, until you get fired.
Yeah.
Then you'd be like, oh no. So what is...
Come back with the hatchets, yeah.
Yeah. So what am I going to do with my life after that? I don't have anything else.
Yeah.
I don't have any other friends.
Yeah.
So it's there's no one size say that, okay, you should always have a community outside, because we know some people who don't have a community
just don't,
outside.
exactly.
Right? So we know from our school that some people don't like our school. We know from our school that some people don't hang out after Sec 3, Sec 4.
They don't want to see each other.
They don't want to see each other. They don't want to do anything to do with our school and things like that. So it's like, people are different.
Yeah.
So the only danger for people like that is that when they get fired or they get let go,
they
they
decide to leave.
all their emotional attachment
Mm.
is, when it comes to this whole idea of relationships and social, is all to your work team.
Yeah.
And you don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
And that can cause a big blow to you. Huge. To a point where it might affect you. It's almost like a person whose identity is part of their work. I am a doctor and that's all I know.
Yeah.
This is who I am for the longest period of time. And I now suddenly, because of whatever injury or retirement, I come out of that, I don't know who I am anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally,
so
totally.
That's the only issue.
So whatever the case is, I mean, would you say that you would say it's best to, no matter what, even like always make sure that there's some sort of community outside work that you have, whether if it can be a small one, it doesn't have to be a huge one. Find something that's outside work that you want to kind of like that you do, like basically have a hobby and preferably have a hobby that involves a community of people, even if it's like maybe I don't know, you like making, you like painting. Okay, because that will sound really wrong. I was gonna say painting Warhammer, then I was like, that's not very. I mean, that's not the thing wrong. I was gonna say no lah. There's nothing wrong with that. No, you like painting Warhammer characters, but then make sure that you also spend time with the community that likes painting Warhammer. Don't just paint it on your own
that's the
and
funny
then do
thing.
nothing lah.
It could be that advice
Yeah.
for 50% of people is the right advice.
Oh,
But the other 50% is like, I don't want to.
oh, you just okay.
Yeah, I can't. Forging a relationship is so difficult for me unless it's about work, for example.
Oh,
and
damn.
there are some people like that.
Then like that how?
So it's they just need to be aware that there's no right and wrong. There's no like you must have a community outside. You can't force that on people. So it's
Of course, I can't force that on people. This is more of advice than forcing lah. I'm just saying that.
yeah. So for them, if they find trouble finding a community outside, should they start? Yeah, they should start. Should they start? No, not a cult. They should start trying lah. Maybe they have certain apprehensions of trying to make friends with a group of strangers. I don't know, but can they start? They can. And can they start to maybe blossom some friendships? Maybe. We're not sure. But I wouldn't say that they should, but they should try
It's
out.
not. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, they should start trying out.
I think it's actually really difficult as you get older. It's actually really difficult to make new friends, to be very honest.
Yes.
It's very, very tough.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of stuff you already
Besides
have.
work, right?
Yeah, besides work, it's actually really tough. I mean, of course, maybe if you're
Yeah.
in a crochet club or something like that, and then meet the new people.
Yeah.
But it's like similar interests. It needs to be a similar
No,
thing that
and
bonds.
also, from what I see, is that it is more difficult for guys
Oh, is it?
than girls.
Okay.
Because girls kind
Feels
of
like this feels like you might be saying something that's going to be somewhat sexist, but go ahead.
No,
You say it, man. I didn't say shit.
no, so it's almost like in general, guys don't really share emotions. In general, guys don't really talk about their life. Right, so when we hang out, what do we talk about? We don't talk about really like what's happening and all that. We talk
about politics, of course. That's what
Yeah.
we always talk about.
we
Politics
talk other things
and sports.
So then the connection for guys, sometimes we don't go very deep.
Right.
Yeah, but for girls, it's like, hey, what's happening? Okay, let me tell you what's happening. This is how I felt in work and all that. So it's a little bit more like there's that ease of understanding how I feel, what I'm going through. But for guys, sometimes guys, it's a little bit more. It's difficult. It's difficult for guys to be able to just open up. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's but I mean, like, if you look at it in that way, counter to what you're saying, if guys go very shallow in general of how they speak, wouldn't it be easier for them to speak to and get to know more people?
Yeah, then the purpose of it is just drinks lah.
I mean, doesn't have to
And
be
fun
drinks. They could be like this, talking about like, civil discourse over like an oolong tea.
Oh, right.
Like they could be doing that. I mean,
Yeah.
but it's just that it might not be as deep a relationship, but it's still a relationship.
Yeah. Possible.
Like, for example, how long you know me already?
20. Wow.
What's my middle name? Serious? No, right?
Gabriel.
No, what are you talking about? Really? I don't know.
I don't know. It's not even your IC.
Yeah, I don't have one. But the fact is, you didn't know that. That's my point. My point is, you didn't know. That's what I'm trying to say. Like,
Right.
it doesn't matter. You can be really old
Okay.
friends. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So okay.
So,
So to
Of all things, Gabriel. Seriously.
I don't know, I
Why
just-
do I look like a middle name Gabriel kind of guy?
like it's just like some archangel.
Why an archangel?
Because Mark is like the first 4 by 4. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Right?
I think my name was supposed to be Mary.
Mary, M-A-R-Y.
Yeah, because my dad's Peter and my brother's Paul.
But you're
But I was Paul. It's like, okay, I guess your mom.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
To
Anyway,
summarize. What should we look at? What then? If we're not going to look at work as a family, what should we work as? So my thinking is that the best analogy I have and I give to leaders is that it's an Olympic team. An Olympic team of 4 runners.
SEA Games are Olympics.
Sports team.
Sports team.
Of 4 runners,
sports team.
400-meter runners, and these are your teammates, and you are the coach.
Sorry, clarify. 4 100-meter runners
in a relay team.
Okay, got you. Not 400-meter runners.
Yeah, 4 100-meter runners in a relay team.
Got you.
So the only reason you're in the Olympic team A team and not the reserve team is because you're for your performance.
Sure.
That's the
Let's
only
go with
reason
that. Yeah,
you're
let's
there,
go with that. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And if you slack,
yes.
then somebody else will replace you.
Okay.
And everybody knows that because of the performance, you are replaced. And everybody understands that. It's like, yes, I didn't make the mark. I'm now on the reserve team.
Yeah.
And there's no hard feelings about it.
Yeah.
The coach makes the decision because the standard is
because
there.
the goal is performance.
The goal is to win Olympic gold.
Big goal, exactly.
Yeah, and if the 4 of you are there, no matter how close you are and say you're a family and all, it doesn't matter. If you don't reach that mark, you're out. So that's the best analogy, and these people are replaceable. At that point of time, even though they know it's replaceable based on performance, how we treat each other, it can feel like a family. It can feel like it, and you can feel like, I can go over to your house on weekends, have drinks, have dinner, and all that. It can feel that way, and that's humanizing it.
Yeah.
But we also know that we are only at this A team here because of our results. That's the only reason you're there. If not, you're in a B team or you're in another team. Yeah. That's an analogy.
You're doing like discus. Let's just say you're better at discuss, like you're better at discuss.
Yeah. And that's the only reason why you should be there. You're there because of your performance, and that qualifies you to be in the A team.
Right.
Representing the country.
Right.
How we treat each other,
it's actually inconsequential.
Yeah,
right?
we can treat each other almost like when somebody looks at it, hey, wow, you all look like so tight-knit as a family. And then if this person is injured, his leg is like, gonna sprain on something, somebody takes over, same. We can still carry on feeling like a family, feeling close-knit. But the only reason you're there is because of results.
That's true. I mean, I
what
think...
what other ways would you say?
One of the things, one of the things I've got to mention, one of the things that I think many people getting into the workforce right now are always missing, especially those people who just started working maybe about 3 years ago, was that whole connection with other human beings, just connection with other human beings because of the whole work from home situation. Yeah. Not being able to feel that community, that kind of community in human interaction. And that caused a lot of burnout. So I would say that while you're looking at things like this is performance, is why you are in this team, is why we're pushing for, and you know that if one person doesn't perform, you need to find somebody who will. Yeah. That's more on the where you're talking about like really like tag teams peak performance pushing out. Yeah. I think it's more about it's more about showcasing that this space that you're in, or what, we're not family per se, but we are a group of, we are a community with the same values that you have. Because that kind of helps in terms of building that like-mindedness, in terms, or like that single-minded focus towards what we're trying to do. And usually those values are quite important in terms of how you personify them. So yours is a little bit more like boom, like tip of the spear, right? Mine is talking about as a larger kind of entity, how you want to kind of build out, like, these are our real values that we really do push. And none of them actually talks about family. It talks about respecting each other. It talks about, causes that we believe in, pushing for things that, or like outcomes that we want to hit, and a certain standard of work that we want to meet, and stuff like that, and stuff like those aspects. And these are just broad ones, are not specifically where I'm working, but it's broad ones. So I think that building or ensuring that people understand that is a community you're creating will help to kind of build a stronger kind of team that works together, whether they are the front sales force, or the people who are working on procurement, or the people who are handling like management about logistics or anything. It depends, you know, because some might not realize their importance in the whole role if they're not the obvious right in front selling, or right in front, like, pitching and everything. There are so many other roles that are important. But if everybody has the same like-minded focus, And it doesn't have to be grand and ridiculously crazy. You know about the story about Kennedy was at the NASA place. I think I talked about it before. Kennedy went to NASA and then he saw this guy sweeping the floor.
Janitor.
Yeah,
right,
the janitor. And he said, "What are you doing?" "I'm putting a man on the moon." That
Yeah.
kind of thing. Like everybody knows why they're there,
Mm.
right? I think it was a Simon Sinek thing. Like that was
Yeah,
a start with why. My God, that guy's books.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so what you're saying is
Yeah.
that on the broader aspect,
Yeah.
this is just one team,
correct.
the Olympic team.
Yeah,
There are 5 other teams where we grow and nurture people
Correct.
to become there.
correct.
So
Or they're all working on different. They're all doing
Yeah.
different categories or different.
Yeah. So
oh.
different parts. So one could be for in the sports team is there's nutrition, physio.
Yeah.
They're different. They're support teams.
I was actually thinking different like event. Like one is on high jump team, but you're thinking like everybody working towards this 4.
Still the same goal.
Okay.
Yeah, still the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
goal.
let's
but
go
then
with
there's a
that,
lot
let's
of
go with that,
support.
yeah.
And then you can still build the community.
Yeah.
You can still build. That's more of like if you run really like say that's like the way of life of how we live, how
Yeah.
we see things.
It's more
This
of
is-
the way of life
Yeah.
versus less so about the whole like performance.
Yeah.
But
So you're
sounds-
here.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do feel that is more of how we want things to run. But you are at the door and you're only allowed in the door because of your performance still. Yeah.
Yeah. I
It
get
still
you.
comes back
I
down
get
to
you. Yeah, it still comes back
performance.
to that.
And the funny thing is that if you're a C player in this whole A group
Yeah.
and you are let go, you might find your home in a C team and be super happy.
Mm.
And everybody's a C team and everybody's there and like you found your home.
Yeah, but maybe they might be C team in a specific sense, but then in the sense that in the when we look at it in the A team, B team, C team, and everything, we might say, "Oh, C team's not so good."
Yeah.
But in truth, it's not really to say a C team is bad. It's just a different team.
It's a different
It
team.
might just be
Yeah.
you need a different
Yeah.
set of people to work with you.
Yeah,
to be
best
able to-
analogy I have for this is like a professor in university is not better than a kindergarten teacher.
What really? Yeah.
You're not better than
When
that.
we say better, how better?
Better
Like
than
pull-ups,
better in
pull-ups.
terms of like teaching, better in terms of like so they're all teaching kids,
Okay.
all children. They're all teaching different kinds of children. One likes to like be challenged, for example, and maybe the nurturing part is lower, while a kindergarten teacher nurturing is higher,
Okay.
right? But they're still part of the team. They're still part of there's a spectrum of people.
Okay.
So when you say that A team and C team, you can be very happy in different areas. It's just different kind of challenges that you want.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's not about really like the it's not about peak in the conventional sense of it. It's
Yeah,
more
because
your
for-
personal peak, right?
For kindergarten, my love for the children and my wanting to take care of them and like groom them, even though they can't like ask me a very difficult, challenging question, that's fine. But to a professor, he wants those kind of people. So it's different, and I think it's fine.
I'm not sure whether I'll go so far as professor and kindergarten teacher. But okay, I see where you're coming from. I see where you're coming from.
But what they
no
want.
disrespect to kindergarten teachers.
No disrespect, because
Yeah.
they can be all to a professor, they might see it as like I don't want to coach these people,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because maybe I want challenges, and for him the professor is that challenges make me at my best, and I want that, right?
Yeah.
And if I don't have challenges, I don't want to. That's why some teachers would thrive in different areas. You can't say that a kindergarten teacher is not a good teacher. There are great teachers there.
Yep.
Right? And then a professor is also a great teacher. It's just depending on the person himself.
Yeah, I get you, man.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think we got to wrap up, man.
Yeah.
You need to go already,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. All right. So
What
thank-
the fuck was that ending?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, what do you want to talk about next time? Do you know?
Don't know yet, man.
Donuts.
Right. Okay. Thank you for the chat, man.